Hello again, math students. Today we're going to be still solving equations, but now we're going to be writing the equations ourselves from some story problems. At this point, solving the equations should be the easier part. Getting the translations is the stuff that I'm more worried about today. So you should have, either in Schoology or you already got a copy from me, some example problems for story problems. So these are already on your sheet. If you don't have that sheet in front of you, that's okay. You can just translate them on your own paper and then solve the equations that way. We have to make sure that we're okay with all the different words that we're going to encounter today. Like when I say 2 more than, that means 2 plus, and then I want to say 5 times the number. By the way, I don't care what variable you use. If you use an x or an n or whatever, in this problem, I'm just going to use an n because it's number right there. And 5 times the number I would write as 5n. This word right here is, it's going to be really, really important. It means equals. Once you have this, you should be able to solve this equation now. On the answer key for today's practice problems, I have the equations and the answers. I don't have all the work shown because it was a little bit short on space. So I just had the equations with the answers. If you have any troubles with how to solve any of these problems, please let me know. But again, at this point, I think that solving the equations should kind of be the easy part. 75 divided by 5 is what we're going to get on this problem, which is 15. So if I would substitute that back in and I would say 5 times 15, that's 75, and I want 2 more than that. That is 77. So the second problem on the examples, 9 less than 1/4 of a number is 6. In the last problem, when I said more than, I just wrote 2 and then plus. Less than does mean subtract, but it's the tricky kind of subtraction where I have to change the order. So for instance, if I said 9 less than 10, I'm not doing 9 minus 10, I'm doing 10 minus 9. It is a subtraction, but the 9 goes after the subtraction. And then when I say 1/4 of a number, here's another word that you need to know. The word of in algebra means multiply. So I'm going to have 1/4 times a number, and I'm going to take 9 away from it because it was 9 less than that is 6. And again, I'm just going to solve this problem kind of quickly because that part is review now. So I have 1/4 n equals 15, and then I would multiply by the reciprocal. Oh, not that. I would have to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4/1, or just 4. So I would want to get that n is equal to 60 on that problem. For the third example, we've got another new word. It says diminished by, 12 diminished by. Diminished is just another way of saying subtraction, but this is not like less than where we had to change the order. 12 diminished by is like 12 take away, so 12 minus 8 times a number, that's just 8n, is 36. When you solve this one, and again, if you want to just pause the video, solve it, and then check your answer at the end, that's fine. Make sure that you're careful about the subtraction. This is really going to do a keep, change. So I would want to subtract my 12. So I have that negative 8n equals 24. It's a weird looking negative, sorry. Divide by negative 8. So I'm going to get that n is negative 3 on this problem. Here we've got another fraction going on. 1/8 of a number increased by 20. Increased by is just another way of saying addition. So I'm going to have 1/8 of a number increased by 20 is 32. So when I solve this one, and again, this part shouldn't be hard, I'm going to have 1/8 n equals 12. to get rid of multiplying by 1/8, I do not divide by fractions. I multiply by the reciprocal, or just 8 instead of 8/1. So this is going to give me 96. Number 5 for the example problems. 9 times a number diminished by 4 is 95. So we already saw the word diminished by. But if I would write 9 times a number, that's just 9n. Diminished by means subtract. 4 is 95. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm not talking through the whole thing because I'm trying to save some time for your video. So this one would be 11. Number 6, more of an actual story problem now. Grandpa Smith is 75 years old. This is 9 years less than 7 times the age of Junior Smith. How old is Junior? I don't care which variables you use for any of the problems, but I do like to pick a variable that makes sense for the situation if we can. I know how old Grandpa Smith is. I'm not picking a variable for that. I want to know how old Junior Smith is. So I'm going to use the letter J. I'm going to use a lowercase j just because that's what we usually use for variables. So we've got that Grandpa Smith is 75 years old. This is right here doesn't mean equals in our equation. I'm going to say Grandpa Smith is 75. This is, that's my equals, 9 years less than 7 times the age of Junior Smith. The less than, again, is the tricky subtraction. I'm going to have to subtract, but I have to reverse the order. So let me start with the 7 times the age of Junior Smith. That would be 7 times Junior's age. And I'm going to subtract 9 from that. Keep in mind, it would not make sense to get a fraction or a decimal answer on this, right? If we're talking about how old somebody is, we talk about years. So I'm going to get 84 equals 7j. So then J, Junior, is going to be 12 years old. So how old is Junior? 12 years old. And here's our last one. A medium orange has 70 calories. This is 10 calories less than 1/4 of the calories in a Sugar Crunchy. How many calories are in a Sugar Crunchy? Okay, I wrote this one specifically to be similar to a problem on your practice today. The O for orange is not a good variable. We do not like to use O's. I'm not looking for that anyway, though. I'm looking for how many calories we have in a Sugar Crunchy. I personally don't really like to use S's. I guess I would probably use the K for crunchy. So that you can pick whatever variable you want. You can use an X or an N for any of these, but I'm going to try to pick one that makes more sense. So we're going to start with a medium orange has 70 calories. So the orange is 70. This is 10 calories less than 1/4 of the calories in a Sugar Crunchy. Again, the less than is the tricky. Ignore the 10 less than for a second. How would I write 1/4 of the calories in a Sugar Crunchy? Remember, we're going to use a K for that. That's 1/4 K. That whole line just turns into 1/4 K. And I want 10 less than that. So we would add 10 to both sides. And then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, 4/1, or just 4. So, I multiplied wrong. A Sugar Crunchy has 320 calories. I'm not sure that a Sugar Crunchy sounds like a good snack, but that's how many calories we've got. So today's practice problems, it's a riddle worksheet, and there are 14 questions. I only need you to do about 10 of the problems. That's plenty for showing your work and writing the equations. If you want to do them all, you certainly can. You know that the answer key is out in Schoology. Remember, again, I wrote the equations and I gave the answers, but I don't have all of the work shown. I need you to show all of your work, But if you can get the correct answer from your work, then you should be doing just fine on those. When you're all done, don't forget about the learning check that's in Schoology, and let me know if you need any help.